Hi, my name is Larry Mills. I'm basically a building enthusiast, and I do this. I do build walls, stone walls, and small building projects. A lot of what I do is restoration work and reproduction work, specifically. I've been doing it for quite a few years now, and I enjoy it. This window, actually, it's an old Bermuda cedar window. If you compare this window with a modern PVC window or aluminum window, you'd find that the basic principle is the same. It just slides up and down. It has no sort of mechanics to it. It just slides up and down on the rails. But the interesting thing is it just comes apart quite easily if you wanted to clean it. It comes apart quite easily. This just slides out. And that's all it is to it. So what you have is two solid sides, and the two sashes. But it's a very basic principle, probably designed long before the early settlers got here, but it works. And this is the kind of window you would have seen in a house that would have been built during the 1700s. Now today they would replace this with concrete. Reinforced concrete would be in place of this. Because of modern codes, you just need to be able to add a bit more reinforcement to come up to modern codes. But the original houses would have used this as their concrete beam. This would have been the structural element here, and it would have rested right on top of this thick cedar seal. If you can imagine this being 7 or 8 foot long, this has just been obviously cut off. They cut a little bird's mouth in it, what they call a bird's mouth seat cut, and you take it, you sit it on the wall plate, as you would see, say here, right along here. Then you would add what they call a rafter foot, a falls rafter foot, which sort of gives you that bow sweep at the end of the roof, and it just keeps the roof off the element here. They nail a lath right onto that, and then they nail laths continued on up to the roof, right up to the top of the apex of the roof. Once you've nailed the lath on, in the old days, they would have cut what you call an eave slate. This would have been cut out of limestone by hand. They would have cut it 3 inches at the bottom, up to 1 inch on a bevel. Then they put the seat cut into it. This is actually what originally and initially holds the roof on. This sits at the base of the roof onto that first lath that I mentioned. It sits on the first rafter foot, and this actually, if I can get it, hooks onto the lath like that. So if you can see it, it just fits right into that groove. And this is what actually holds that roof from slipping off initially. In order to get these to stay on, you would mix a lime mortar. You need a very fat and limey mortar, very little cement. What you want is a bonding agent that would adhere to the soft limestone. It's an extremely heavy roof. I have a piece of it here. Jesus. I have a piece of it here. This is just one piece that actually blew off a roof during Hurricane Emily. If you look at it in crosscut, you've got the first eave slate that I showed you. Then you've got your first slate and what you call the gutter stone, which you would see just on this roof here. If you look up just about 2 feet from the edge of the roof, you see a gutter running across the side there. That channels the water down into the tank. So the original settlers, building wasn't a new science in the 1600s. People have been building for thousands of years. But our actual vernacular style of building has grown specifically because of what was available here. The cedar, the natural cedar that grew here like weeds. I mean, cedar grew here literally like weeds. The cedar trees grew, they don't grow that way now, but at that time they grew like weeds. And they had the limestone. The art of quarrying they would have brought with them also. They understood quarrying. So it was easy once they got here to basically figure out how to get some shelter.